How do the top 1% of entrepreneurs and millionaires work non-stop without burnout? In my case, I've crossing the desert for 4.5 years, and how have I kept going? The first thing, in my opinion, and you will see that you have never heard the arguments elsewhere, is that you will always work more and more easily for yourself rather than for a boss. When you are an employee, you're paid the same anyway. It's not your skills that are judged, it's the hourly rate. It's whether you clocked in and out at the right times. Similarly, if you're a student, you work more to please your parents, you work more because the teacher has authority over you, and so you have to listen to him or get fired, than out of love for the subjects you're studying. In this salaried world, you only listen to your boss because you are a modern-day slave. You're just a little rat who needs to give the dough to get his food. But without that, you don't show up at school, you don't show up at your job. That's why half the employees, it's an open secret, nobody talks about it, are on tranquilizers, antidepressants, drugs, you could say pharmaceutical doping, to get through each day. Everything that was big was once small. It's from the personal MBA. So you have to assume your risks first. You have to do it for your self-image first, okay? You're not a prostitute who needs to be wiped by her boss for 8 hours a day because he can't take it anymore. You don't have to be addicted to a lifestyle. There are lots of people around us who are addicted to the brands they wear, who are addicted to their cars, their car loans, their mortgages. Debt keeps us in chains and advertising dumps us down. It's better to have a small project, even if you earn $200, $300 a month, move to a Maghreb country, stop pressurizing yourself with 10K a month minimum, $1 million over 10 years minimum. Start by refusing this alienated life. Your adult life begins when you forget your need to earn a salary. I would rather earn $250 a month and make videos, read books, than earn $15,000 a month if I had the skills to be a surgeon, a dentist, anything you want. For me, it doesn't work. Why? Because I'm obliged to be there by the hour. Why do our relationships work particularly well when we don't live with the girl? Because you see her when you want to see her. Even porn would become unpleasant if I told you twice a day, for example, for the extremes, you're going to do yourself good at midday and at midnight. You're going to feel like a prison because you're being forced. Every time you're forced, it's tyrannical. Every time it's tyrannical, you're a slave. Every time you're a slave, you're a victim. The second solution to working like the top 1% of entrepreneurs and millionaires non-stop without burnout is to work in the same way. Because obviously, you're not going to start your business the very next year. And your business is not going to make $1 million a year from the very first. So it's going to be a process, and there is more chance of it failing or stagnating than evolving like the number ones today. You have to be able to work in the same way for free. In your head, you have to be in love with what you're doing. My advice is to only do businesses despite the shiny object syndrome, such as chatting in OnlyFans. I've seen it all. Dropshipping, affiliation, SMMA, social network management, marketing agencies, copywriting, closing. I've seen it all in 4.5 years online. Choose a business where even if you never get 10K a month, even if you don't find a customer for 6 months, even if it requires you to invest more than $5,000 when you had not originally planned to put them in, you keep doing it, even for $0. Why do I think I'm dangerous? Because even for $0, I'm doing this job. Even for $0, I'm talking to you the way I talk to you. Even for $0, I'm working every day. Quote from Sun Tzu in The Art of War. Victory depends on the mistakes of others. Making yourself invincible depends on yourself. So, look at the battlefield with a dry eye, as written in Power by Robert Greene. Take stock of your weaknesses. If you see that, in fact, you need to earn $2,000 a month within 4 months, you're bound to fail. Because the most dangerous person is the one who does it for different reasons from the others. Burnout comes from morale, not fatigue. Why does entrepreneurship make you so happy even if you earn less than if you were an employee or perhaps a student? Your product is your skills, and every time you start out, you will be a beginner in graphic design, editing, social networking, content creation, crypto investing, anything you want. Taxation, accounting, knowing how to form partnerships, managing a team, anything you want. Every time you start out as a beginner, it's like when we were kids with Pokemon. We would restart the game as soon as we had earned all the arena badges and beaten the Pokemon League. You start from scratch all the time. It's a productive dopamine. But when you're working or studying, you know very well how it's going to end. And what is most horrible and why you want to live in the first 2 months of working or studying is that, in fact, it's going to be the same thing for the rest of the year, for employees, for the rest of their lives. The third solution is that those who work a lot don't actually work hard. Every day, the aim is for it to be at least 5 out of 10. We're not here for 10 out of 10. We're not here for adoration. We're not here for excellence. We're here to do the minimum amount of work every day to get our snowball effect rolling. We are playing the cumulative effect over several years because this smartest person is the one who sees the furthest, not the one who looks the highest. To do this in practice, you're going to break down each task. So you're really starting from a very, very high level. You can start with a mind map, for example, which is what I recommend on Canva Pro if you are a subscriber. You will start to make some sort of drawings, some sort of skeletons with branches, a bit like tentacles leading to more tentacles until your task is ridiculed. Pro tip, don't set out every day in 0 out of 10, 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10 mode with 10 tasks to do today. Instead, start with 10 tasks that you're going to reduce because then you don't have to start. You just have to finish. You speak the same language as your brain. This is the principle of coherence and commitment explained in Robert Cialdini's Influence. On the other hand, if you don't, it's the same process used by the instructors in Hell Weeks. You know David Goggins. They might ask you to do 1000 repetitions of pull-ups or squats, except that the perversion of the instructors is that when you get to halfway through, you change exercises, which means you will still be a loser for a whole week without sleep. You don't break down because you're tired. You break down because of your morale. Since you are your own boss today, make sure your brain enjoys the task. My first solution is not to work with music, but with alpha waves or background music, because even if you work without music, there will always be ambient noise. And above all, there will always be disturbances, whether at the window or in your own home with your dad calling you to come and eat, to pick something up, to come and help him, your phone on vibrate, your social media notifications, all that is noise. As Jack Satterley said, you like him, you don't like him, his books are excellent and I read them. The real luxury of the future is silence. In everything that is noise, you can put everything that is dopamine, notifications, incessant calls, vibrate mode, all these stimuli that prevent you from entering a state of flow. In Cal Newport's deep work, it said that every time there is an interruption, even an unwanted one, the time it takes you to resolve this interruption and get back to the task, you pay for it in times 4 to get back to the same level of flow. All in all, if we imagine that you're interrupted 100 times a day by noise, it's nothing 100 times a day. We agree. If you work at home, you work maybe 10 hours a day. Out of the 10 hours you have been working, you have only concentrated maybe 2. When you add that up over a year, well, you will do in 5 years what you could have done in aeroplane mode in 1. Pro tip, the best alpha waves, in my opinion, let's call it background music, to help you concentrate and work is from the ACP channel. You will feel like a Gallo-Roman soldier who has to reconquer Rome. Why is it so warlike? Because most of us are addicted to our current comforts, and the most profitable decision we could make this year is to do more violence to ourselves. Take it more personally. Hate it when you don't get the results you're aiming for. You don't work for nothing, man. The downside of this kind of music is that people are going to think you're crazy. So much the better. As it's said in Tribe of Mentors, every time I choose a new goal, a new habit, or make a new life decision, or even a new partner, as long as normal people, who I find normal anyway because everyone feels exceptional inside, don't think I'm crazy, it's because, in fact, I have to go even further, because different results will come from different actions. If nothing happens in your life, it's because you're not doing enough. Stop being in the mindset of a customer, not even a consumer, but a customer, in fact, a moron, meaning that, in fact, without advertising stimuli, you don't get out your wallet to buy. Except that here, in fact, you are being stimulated by a need that is fictitious, that doesn't exist. Instead, be a producer. Take the lead. It may or may not work, but at least take the risk of being masculine. There's no point going to the gym if you're afraid of taking risks at home in front of your computer. Even if you love rap, you get that out of my face. Why? Because number 1, the BPM is far too high, which means you will never be able to settle down, concentrate. In fact, you will be in front of the computer, you will have a good time, yes, but you won't be doing anything productive. So you will have to replay that good time, which will become bad, dozens of times to finish your task, as there are lyrics. You can't listen to your inner voice. Thinking is talking to yourself. So when there are 2 voices, even 3, if you listen to Fitz, you can produce reasoning. You can produce thought, as Sartre says. My 5th solution is to reduce the number of interruptions in your day. So first, you have to classify them. In my case, in 2080, it was only linked to meals because I used to do a lot of bodybuilding. The habit that made me lose weight, but also made me richer, was to fast in 16/8 minimum, or even 24, which means that for 16 hours, including your hours of sleep, you're not going to eat anything solid. So you gain in longevity, but you also save time in your day to day. Also, if you're a huge eater, know that it's out of habit. Your body doesn't need to, unless you bulk like Samsolek. But Samsolek is ultra doped and wants to become a bodybuilding competitor. If that's not the case for you, you will be better off getting rich to avoid working and studying. What I'm doing at the moment is doing my shopping in an organic shop. When I have a bit less money, I get my food delivered on Amazon in find grocery. I steam cook. I have about 4 days worth of dishes already cooked for my future meals. For 4 days, I have nothing to do. I just work and eat twice a day. One time I have a huge snack with food supplements, and the other time I eat 50% plant food with quinoa or rice, loaded with spices. To preserve my food, it's not on plates, it's not in plastic and all that. I have eaten enough plastic in my life thanks to our parents. In my case, it's glass to pour. So, you're going to look like a real idiot because it's really expensive and the lids are made of bamboo. It's the best compromise I have found for keeping food cool without it touching plastic. The bonus solution in this video is the community. You have to find a community of people who share your values and with whom you can work, exchange ideas, do business with, and so on. So you've got to stop going to guys who say to your face that they earn I don't know how many millions of dollars a month, because in fact they're not the guys who are going to be working with you every day because you're not earning them. After 4.5 years of crossing the desert, I still would not have the will to work so hard if I had not joined a community. Work is hard when you work alone. It's also hard when you are surrounded by liars, including digital mentors who are dream salesmen. It's a lot easier to tell you that you're going to earn $100,000 a month if you buy my training than it is to tell you, as I did, that you're going to spend at least 2 years crossing the desert with hardly a penny to your name. On the other hand, if you last that long, if you add IQ to your actions every month, you can be sure of becoming rich. Easy